Well, not exactly the night after WrestleMania 28, is it? Holy crap. Monday Night Raw is in the books, night after WrestleMania 36. How you guys doing? I apologize for making over 100 of you wait in here for me to get up, but the show just went off the air with some pretty interesting news. Wasn't expecting a Drew McIntyre title defense or anything like that, but boy, they were really struggling to fill the 3 hours here tonight. Kind of depressing when you look at it. I mean, I'm not going to shit on them for putting on a bad show. It's not their fault. It's the situation that they're in. This could have been a great Raw had it been gone on as planned, and there's no virus and all of that. But man, they struggled to fill the time. We had 3 hours to fill tonight, and it was just a whole lot of nothing, and kind of a sobering reality of what kind of a horrible situation we're in right now. But we are going to talk about it. We'll discuss what we saw on the show tonight. We'll discuss a little bit more about last night's WrestleMania, and that's probably about it. Won't be a terribly long podcast tonight, but we still have stuff to get into and things to discuss. I hope you guys are doing all right from your WrestleMania weekend hangover that you may not have been suffering today. And I hope you guys are all still doing well with the virus and the quarantining and the isolation and all that. And at least we have each other, right? Big show, main event in Mania. Yeah, it kind of did seem that way, yeah, in a strange way. Nathan, you are right, he definitely did. Hello to everybody in here, Nathan and Tim and Aaron and Ungovernable, Reese Jones, Ian, Chaz, Devlin, good to see you, Nick, Chaz, Sam, Marcus, Chris, Barry, MK, Satan is here. All right, nice. Big Dog, a whole bunch of guys. Mr. E, cool. Do me a favor right off the bat here, just keep smashing that thumbs up, create 20 accounts and smash the thumbs up on each one. I'd appreciate that. And we'll kind of kick back and we'll discuss Raw tonight. I got a cold beverage opened up, and we'll make the best out of very light results of Raw. I mean, there's really not a whole lot on here even worth discussing, but we'll talk about it. We're just going to talk. We're going to skip right to the main event and just talk about the Drew McIntyre stuff first. Because there were rumors today, I mean, not really rumors, both guys were talking trash to each other, but apparently they might, WWE might be setting up for a Drew McIntyre and Tyson Fury match. That was the big rumor today. McIntyre called him out on an interview or something like that, and Fury had talked some shit as well. Tyson Fury was supposed to be a part of WrestleMania. Had WrestleMania been in Tampa, he for sure would have been involved in something. Maybe a tag team match with Braun Strowman. Maybe that's why Strowman wasn't booked for WrestleMania, because that's kind of what they had him penciled in to do. I don't know. Well, all of a sudden, it's now being rumored that Tyson Fury, I'm not sure if he's going to be the first challenger for Drew McIntyre, but he's going to be a challenger for Drew McIntyre. And I hate that idea. I hope this is just talk. I hope this is just rumors and hearsay, and I hope these guys are just kind of stirring the pot a little bit, and this match is not put together. The match that Tyson Fury had with Braun Strowman was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And given the level of star Tyson Fury is, he's doing WWE for fun. The type of money he pulls in from his boxing matches is, I don't know, 100 times greater than anything WWE will pay him. So for him to come in, he basically has to do it, number one, because he wants to, or number two, as doing it kind of like a favor because he likes wrestling, which means WWE might put the fucking belt on this guy. Because think of the publicity that would give to WWE. If they had a chance to do this back in the 80s, if they could have put the WWE title on Mike Tyson, they most definitely would have done it. And if I just can't see that happening. Drew's like your new guy he's launched. He's not the guy that Tyson Fury should be knocking the fuck out and taking the title away from. I can't even imagine that happening. Just saying it makes me want to vomit. But anyway, that was the big story today. We kind of thought something like that was going to break tonight because WWE during Raw kept advertising some breaking news later on that happened last night after WrestleMania went off the air. So I thought that was going to be like Drew in the ring calling Fury out. But instead, we saw something else. So maybe, at least for now, the Tyson Fury stuff is just talk. None of that can even happen until we get finished with the coronavirus pandemic and life starts getting back to normal, and we could be a long way away from that happening. So McIntyre and Fury coming together in an empty arena match, I can't see it happening, and I don't want it to happen. I think that would have to be like a spectacle. So at least for the time being, we're probably safe from that match being actually made, but it wasn't the best news to read today when I woke up. I'm like, what the fuck? My God. But if you thought that was weird, that isn't even the weirdest thing of the day. So, like I said, we ran through all of Monday Night Raw. They kept promoting the Drew McIntyre promo from after his Brock Lesnar match, and that there was some breaking news. So we cut to that. End of the show. It's basically the main event segment. They flash back to last night. This whole segment literally took place 20 minutes after McIntyre won the title. So he immediately got to come out and do an entrance with the belt. He's being interviewed by, I call her Misty Carmichael. I have no idea what her name is. He's being interviewed in the ring with her, and he talks about being the champ. He thanks Paul Heyman for egging Brock on, because if you remember last night when Brock was F5ing him, Heyman was like, keep hitting him with him. Hit him again. Hit him again. He can't kick out of all of them. And McIntyre kind of said he used that as motivation and kind of a metaphor in his life to be constantly knocked down and have to get back up and fight back up. And he did. Overcame the beast and slayed the beast, and now he sits as the new champion. So he's talking for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Big Show's music hits. And go back and watch. I tried to capture a screenshot of it. I couldn't. But Drew McIntyre, as soon as Big Show's music hit, he literally had the same reaction that every one of us had sitting at home. He looked out, he goes, Big Show? Okay. He just kind of said that because that's the most random fucking thing ever, which just goes to show you anybody that's in that surrounding Orlando area, WWE is probably going to use and try to put on the show. As we saw tonight, you saw a lot of developmental talent and NXT talent on the show because they're available. They live right there. And some people were probably already on their way home or heading back or whatever. I mean, I know a lot of wrestlers live in Florida, but a lot don't. So I would think that a lot of those pieces of talent might be unavailable, some of the bigger ones or whatever, and I have no idea what to expect this Friday on SmackDown. So we saw a lot of randoms on the show, so that wasn't a huge surprise, but Big Show coming out definitely was, because you're like, oh, what the hell? And he's got a referee in tow. He's basically dragging a referee out to the ring with him, and gets in the ring and starts talking shit to McIntyre, and McIntyre's like, I know what you're doing. You're going to try to challenge me for the title. And Show's like, no, I'm not going to challenge you for the title. I don't want to challenge you right now, but you're dressed to fight and I'm dressed to fight, so why don't we do it? And in kind of a surprising I guess line by McIntyre, he kind of declined the match. He's like, look, I just fought a match against Brock Lesnar. I'm not going to fight you. And he's right. He has every reason and every right to decline that match, but that's like not what baby faces do. John Cena would be like, yeah, hell yeah, bring it, or just do it, or whatever the fuck he says. So McIntyre's like, hell no, I ain't fighting you. And then Big Show continues to egg him on. And McIntyre is still declining. He's like, there's no way in hell I'm going to fight you, and I'm not going to let you goad me into some match, you know, when I'm weakened and I'm not 100% just so you can, you know, take advantage of me. No, fuck you. I'm not going to fight you right now. And then Big Show slaps him across the face. So right then the match changed from, okay, we're just going to fight, to now it's a title match. So Drew was like, all right, fine. Tells the referee to ring the bell. And just like that, poof, we've got a WWE title match and a WWE title defense for Drew McIntyre. And I don't want to say I had any thought that he was going to lose. Of course he's not. But, you know, the Big Show was kind of beating him down pretty hard there. He was taking advantage of the weakened McIntyre and was on the offensive and pretty much methodically beating the shit out of Drew for the majority of this match, talking trash to him while he's down. Come on, get up, Drew. You're a big badass now. Come on. And just taunting him. So I'm like, okay, Drew, let's get up and kick this guy's ass, please. And eventually, you know, that's what would happen. But Big Show got in a shit ton of offense, and it just basically told the story of Drew just being a tough guy, somebody that can just withstand a shit ton of punishment from monsters. I just kind of wish in the promo he would have been a little bit less scared of the Big Show, a little bit less scared of 40-something, maybe close to 50-year-old Big Show, and said, fine, you know, I know I just took on the beast, but I'll take you on right now, and rip off the belt. Somebody mentioned that they heard a Velcro sound when he took the belt off. I do think that they are using some Velcro on the titles now. Throws it down and attacked. That's what he should have done. But it took some convincing, and it took a little bit of doing, and then we actually got a match. What did we get? Maybe an 8-minute match, something like that. It went for a few minutes, and it was technically a title defense. It was a title defense, and that's kind of cool in a way because, you know, WWE, we're assuming, is going to be suspending production here. Have no idea, and haven't heard any new news on what they're going to do for next week and shit. So it's going to be a while, you would think, before Drew has a title defense, unless they bring it back to the PC at some point. So I would hate for him to win the title and then not defend it, pull a Hulk Hogan 1993, win the title at WrestleMania, and doesn't even step foot in the ring until King of the Ring. I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case, but at least McIntyre right off the bat 20 minutes after he beat Brock Lesnar, he's got a successful title defense under his belt. So all in all, it was Drew's weekend. I mean, this was his night. I forgot to turn this TV off. It was his weekend to shine. You know, they didn't even talk much. Did you notice that tonight on Raw? I was really not paying much attention. I was all over the house. But from what I saw, I didn't hear them mention anything about Strowman winning the title. They may have, but they're certainly not mentioning it a lot. So, you know, even with him beating Goldberg, you know, this was Drew's weekend. So I think I can speak for all the fans that were happy that he's champion, and this is great. We just have no idea, you know, what the future holds for WWE and as far as their next shows and what the hell they're going to do. But Drew McIntyre versus Big Show, at least we got through that relatively quickly. But Drew McIntyre and Tyson Fury, I shudder to think what that's going to be like, and what the fuck is wrong with this company. Is that really what you want to do? Bring Tyson Fury in. Don't put him against Drew, against your champion. You know, a guy that should be, you know, the next big star, and then potentially have him lose to him, or just the match is going to be bad. You know it's going to suck because Tyson Fury doesn't know what he's doing. So, yeah, I don't like any of that. That sounds horrible. Let me cruise back over here to the chat real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything happening. Say a few more hellos. What's going on? Got Aaron and Nightfall, Andrew, Jay Hunt, JL. Good to see you all in here. Got a couple hundred people in the chat too. Keep smashing that thumbs up for me, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to get into the rest of Monday Night Raw right now, but before I do, some programming notes and what you guys can expect throughout the week on this channel. Not a lot in the middle of the week, so this is probably going to be my last video aside from a breaking news live stream or something like that I could do midweek. You're not going to see me again until this coming Saturday. You're going to get me twice on Saturday. You're going to get a special episode in the morning, and then we're going to move the Winged Eagle to a little bit later at night, and we're going to do a big 10-year YouTube anniversary celebration. We'll talk about AEW, Dynamite, we'll talk about NXT, any other wrestling news going on. We're going to treat it like a regular podcast, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to kick back. We're going to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the very first video I ever posted to YouTube back in 2010. I can't believe it's fucking been that long. So that's a big day coming up this weekend, and I think you guys are really going to like the special episode that I'm going to be working and finishing up throughout the rest of the week. But in the middle of the week, you're probably not going to get me. So just kind of pre-warning you there. You got to go 5 days without some good mic work. I'm so sorry. But the week after, probably a week from today, or a week from Wednesday, it's going to be really early next week. I've got a review coming up from a great Patreon supporter, Colin, working on that and finishing it up, but I wasn't planning on releasing that till after WrestleMania anyway, because it's kind of a Survivor Series related video. So I was going to wait until, early April to do that. So that'll be coming right after, just a few days after the 10th anniversary show. So put all that in your calendar, make notifications, all that kind of stuff, and stay tuned to the YouTube channel and my Twitter at GoodMicWork. In the meantime, for more details. Let's go through the rest of Monday Night Raw because it wasn't much. I mean, it really wasn't much at all. We had the women opening up the show with a match between Asuka and Liv Morgan. So Asuka, she's kind of been on a losing streak. She lost on SmackDown to Alexa. She lost the belts at WrestleMania. She's going to be beating my sister here. So, of course, she did, which was good. I don't know. Another thing that I missed tonight, and I want you guys to fill me in on the chat and help me out here. What were they saying about the draft stuff? Weren't they mentioning something about draft picks? Weren't they trying to explain away some bullshit? Talking about like expired draft picks, because I'm pretty sure we saw Apollo Cruz on the show tonight, and I didn't think he was a Raw person. Asuka, I don't even know what brand she fell on. She was tag team champions and they could float. And after she lost the belt, does that mean she's on Raw, or was she supposed to be a SmackDown person too? I really don't know. But WWE was trying to blow some smoke up our asses one way or the other with this draft pick nonsense, because there were, back in the day, some unanswered draft picks. Some people were moved to one of the shows, and then the other to be for a future pick named later, or something stupid. Last year when they were making all that shit up as they went along, the wild card rule and whatever else they did, such a mess. So they tried to pull this shit again tonight. Don't even know what it meant, and I don't know if WWE had planned to do another shakeup. I think it's a little bit early for a shakeup, since after last year's mess and debacle, you don't really need to, but it might be a good way to shuffle some talent around. I don't know if that's still going to be the plan. They don't have to be in an arena for that. That's something that they could do online. They could do a shakeup just from a studio show or some shit like that. That would be some good time filler, actually, for a Raw or SmackDown if they're not going to be in any buildings. But aside from that, I don't know what they were trying to figure out here with some of the talent. They were just basically trying to, because they were taking pieces of talent that were just there and available. Somebody like Apollo Crews. Oh, we'll just put you on the show. Oh, wait a minute. You're not supposed to be on Raw. well, what the fuck? It's a joke anyway. Just put them out there. I mean, that's pretty much their attitude. And I think that's the way the fans kind of consider it too. It's a joke. Apollo Crews got drafted to Raw. Thank you, Mr. E. You feel like Asuka was on SmackDown, Barry? I couldn't remember. Asuka is on Raw. Okay. All right. I guess I do remember that now. So that's kind of good. That means when they lost the title, they don't have to go back. Asuka should, I guess, should be on Raw. Well, maybe you should move Asuka back to SmackDown. She's on Raw now with Becky and Charlotte. She ain't getting over. I like that's a good one. If they do a shakeup, I think they should definitely move Seth to SmackDown. It's time. We are tired of this guy on Raw. And after what happened to him, we'll talk about him here in a second as well. In the match last night with Kevin Owens, he's got no Messiah anymore. At least the Messiah definitely ain't working out for him because half of his team is injured, and he got beat by Kevin Owens. He should head on off to SmackDown. Nothing really else for him to do on Raw at this point anyway. That would be a great move. I would do that for sure. After Asuka defeated Liv Morgan, it got crazy. You talk about time filler here. There was 2 of these matches that were like this. The first one was a WrestleMania rematch. Street Profits again against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. This ends in a DQ, and the beatdown continued, much like last night after the Street Profits retained. Garza and Theory continued the attack, and Bianca Belair came out. They basically just repeated the entire thing. So as they're beating down Street Profits, Bianca's music hits. She comes out there twirling the hair. She's not running out there to save anybody. She just has to do her entrance first. So I guess she doesn't care that much about her husband. She still has to twirl. Never mind your husband's getting beat down. Whatever. Take your time. So then she comes out there, gets in Zelina's face, challenges Zelina to a match. They scuffle. They go at it for a little bit. And then that thing morphs into a 6-person mixed tag team match that had about, 4 commercials spaced out in between this thing. So it was basically 3 matches in one and a big chunk of time that WWE was able to take up with this nonsense. And in the end, after the several restarts, you had the baby faces winning again. Street Profits and Bianca Belair were victorious. And the one silver lining here is Montez Ford, who is probably just one of the most entertaining motherfuckers I've ever seen. The way he screams in the camera. He even took a bump tonight. It was hilarious. Can't remember what it was, but I think he took like a clothesline on the outside, and he had just this look on his face. He's hysterical. I think there's like untapped, potential in him. I mean, we all know that he's pretty charismatic and can be funny and shit, but I think, I don't know. I kind of think this guy might be like really big one day. He's just, he's always got me cracking up. So, the match was like, okay, but Jesus, it was just drug out. And you knew it was just a slap together match for no reason. Theory is just a placeholder, in there for Andrade, and now they're having him wrestle again. Did we really think that Street Profits are going to lose here? No, of course not. After that, they had Aleister Black taking out Apollo Crews. We mentioned him a minute ago. And this was a super long match, They recapped the battle that Aleister had with Lashley last night, and that he probably wasn't 100%, but damn, this thing went longer than the Edge and Randy Orton match. I think we had 3 commercial breaks alone in this match, which honestly, I feel like a dick for complaining about because I like Apollo Crews. The dude is super talented. WWE's never done shit with him. Both these guys were great in NXT. Aleister probably was a little bit more so, but there's no reason why this shouldn't have been a competitive match. It's just based on what we've seen Apollo Crews do lately, which is nothing, and I'm pretty convinced that the only reason he was on tonight's show is because he was one of the only people available that hasn't already had a match or just a piece of talent they can put out there, just a piece of fresh talent to use. Had this been regular WrestleMania with no pandemic, he wouldn't have been on Raw tonight having this match with Aleister Black. There's no way you can convince me of that. So I kind of think they just stuck him out there, and I thought the match was a little bit maybe too competitive based on what WWE's been doing with Apollo Crews. Not that he's not capable, he's just not a piece of talent. I just thought it went twice as long as the Lashley match did last night. So anyway, in the end, very, very good fight put up by Apollo Crews, and a pretty solid match too, to be completely honest. Just super long, and in the end, Apollo Crews ate a black mask, and Aleister continued to win and continued to roll. Now, he did defeat Bobby Lashley last night. We know that. I think they showed, I couldn't remember if this was on Raw tonight or if this was after the match, a replay last night. Pretty sure it was last night. Bobby Lashley being interviewed backstage after his loss, and he said that he needed a new wife. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, thank God. This is how they're going to do it. After all this shit, after all this crazy stuff they did with Rusev and Lana and Lashley, it being in the main event segment of several Monday Night Raws, the wedding, the cake, all this shit. Finally, when they're done with it, it's just like this. It's just a backstage after a match promo. Lashley's mad at Lana now. And then she's like, what did you say to my husband? What did you piss him off for? And, you know that's going to lead to an eventual split. And then Lana can go back to being with Rusev on social media or whatever. So I'm glad to see that that's either done here or it's going to lead to one more confrontation and they'll split up for good. Seriously, don't think it's going to be some like, they're going to make up and still be a couple. They're done. It's about time. They should have never been put together to begin with. And I'm almost certain WWE only does this to fuck with Rusev. I swear. So anyway, that's kind of good news. Kevin Owens was out next. He was cutting, or he wasn't out next, but he cut a promo in the garage talking about his match last night and him beating down Seth Rollins. And how about that bump from the WrestleMania sign? That was good stuff, man. He took a hard fall there. That was Shane McMahon worthy. Better than anything Shane's done in a while, maybe aside from that cell bump. But that shit they did with like Miz and Shane wasn't even very good. This was a good bump, and it had to have been painful. And he put Seth down. And the coolest thing about that elbow from the WrestleMania sign through the table is that he actually like hit. He drove the elbow through Seth. And it looked very real, and Seth sold it like $1 million, and it was awesome. So Owens getting the victory there was great. I think we all appreciated that, and I like the idea of sending him off now to SmackDown. Seth Rollins, that is. Seth Rollins also had a match as well, defeated a jobber, or not a jobber, NXT kid, Denzel something. I missed his last name, but the match was like 5 seconds. Seth made really quick work of him, put him down with a curb stomp, and won the match there. And he definitely doesn't seem himself, which is good, because when you have a match like this that was so definitive, no reason for him to continue his feud with Kevin Owens unless he's out like for revenge now and he's got this big master plan. Otherwise, this transformation in Seth could lead to something more creative for him to do, and moving him over to SmackDown might be a good thing. There's only 2 things to talk about next on Raw, but before I do that, I want to go cruise up here and answer a super chat. I see one coming in from Spaz Phoenix. Go check out his YouTube channel. He does good stuff over there. Thanks for the $10, dude. I appreciate it. I think jobbing Zelina Vega, who's been there waiting to get an in-ring chance for over a year, to Bianca, who's been there 2 days, is a waste. Also, 2 big shows came back tonight. Hope you're good, man. I see what you're saying. I am, man. I hope you are too, up there in Canada, and you're hanging in there with the coronavirus as well. Well, Zelina, I don't have a problem with Zelina jobbing to Bianca because Bianca's a boss. I mean, I understand like Zelina's been on Raw and everything, but I don't think like that's just the sole reason. Like Bianca has been utilized as a wrestler a lot more than Zelina. She has a hell of a lot more mileage in matches than Zelina. It's not a matter of just being there. Oh, look, I've been here. I've been on the roster. I've been clocking in every day for 2 years. She hadn't had any matches where Bianca... And I like Zelina. I love her. But Bianca, one thing I've noticed about her, and I've said this for the past year, is I wasn't sold on her right away. I didn't know if I liked the hair thing. I didn't know if I liked the persona. I didn't know if I liked the look. It was just way too much hair. I'm like, let's not make that the entire thing. And I didn't think she was like that great in the ring. But then after a year went by, I started watching her more. And like a couple months later, man, she got better. That was a good match she had just right there. A couple months later, a little bit better. Then I start hearing her on the mic, and now I'm like head over heels in love with the girl. So she, to me, has shown like great improvement from where she was prior, and I think she has star potential, and she'll have gold around her waist. So in terms of like the strength of the wrestler, I'd put Bianca over Zelina any day of the week. I just don't think that's not a loss Bianca needs to take. She's lost all the big matches. She's lost to the Baszlers, to the Rheas, and to the Charlottes. But I still think she needs to be like that Chris Benoit level. Somebody that's on the cusp, loses some big title matches, but eventually has her day. And she's done some really entertaining things. She's been involved in War Games and great matches. So I'm all on board with Bianca. And again, I think Bianca being on the show last night and tonight, that's a question I actually have for you guys. It feels like Bianca wouldn't have been there if it was a regular WrestleMania. Should have been TakeOver, right? But since all this happened, they were just putting people out there, and I think Bianca was more of just a fresh face to put on TV. I don't think she's been moved up to Raw. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's just like that. She'll be back in NXT. She was just there, available. Let's use her kind of thing. That's how I feel like her involvement this weekend went, but I could be wrong. But either way, I think Bianca should remain as strong as possible, since she tends to lose the biggest matches or the big ones in the title matches. Let's have her win the underneath one. Is she in that ladder match on TakeOver? I don't even know when we're getting that. Maybe Wednesday? Can't remember. Who else am I missing? Yeah, and that's the cool. I kind of like that Bianca has lost already, because I think that's part of the story. It's going to be make a great WWE 24 doc one day, because she had some good matches. She lost, didn't she lose to Shayna and Rhea, right? Both in title matches. And I think she had multiple opportunities against one of them or both. And then she lost to Charlotte as well. So, when she's in there with the best, she puts on a great fight, but falls a little bit short. So I think on the underneath, she needs to keep winning. If they had a secondary title for the women, I'd put that on her. And then sometime in 2021 or sometime later this year, like in the fall, have her be the one to beat Rhea Ripley. I think she will be. I think Bianca Belair will be the one to beat Rhea. I think that's why they got that match over with so quick at first. That way you can take some time and build up for the return. And I think she's going to do it. I think she'll be the one. And I hope so. Bianca is impossible not to like. She's her and her husband both, man. They got that star potential. Montez is crazy. They probably practice promos and shit together. Man, I don't know. Canyon Price, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. If I missed this, sorry. So what's the main of WrestleMania 36? Not sure what that means. Unless you're making a joke about the Big Show and Drew McIntyre, because technically that happened right after WrestleMania, still in the WrestleMania ring and the WrestleMania set, so shouldn't that count as the main event? I don't know. Bianca is not in the ladder match, thank you. And it is on Wednesday, that's good. And is there going to be one more week after that, like a week from this Wednesday, or are we going to get a couple of more TakeOver matches? When is the Gargano and Ciampa match? I got to figure out that now. Bianca is moved up, it's official? I didn't feel like she was. I just felt like she was there because she was there. It's Orlando. That might have been what they talked about with the draft picks or whatever or whatnot. But I don't know. I'd still keep her in NXT. She's ready, though. She's got that whole thing. I could totally understand why they would move her up. I just hope, keep my fingers crossed that it's not too early. And that goes back to what Spaz is saying earlier. If that was a true call-up, who gets called up and loses, to somebody who never wrestles? So Bianca was going to win that match regardless. I think if she was called up or not, she was just the right one to put over. Nothing against Zelina. I love her. I could take me some Zelina all day. She's great in both roles, in the ring and outside, but I think Bianca's the stronger piece of talent at the moment. The only other two matches we had on Monday Night Raw, one was kind of a letdown return. Nia Jax back after, a year? From double knee surgery, someone her size getting both of her wheels fixed. I'm actually surprised she made it back in a year, so good for her. So she's back. She took on Deonna Purrazzo. Again, I don't think Deonna was a call-up. I think she was just there used to get squashed. And the only thing I'll say about this is I'm happy for Nia. I'm happy she's back. That had to have been a difficult injury to do. Can't imagine getting one knee blown out, much less two. So probably a long recovery for her and a lot of rehab and stuff. So I'm sure she's glad to be back and happy to be back. And if it was a regular WrestleMania or regular Raw after WrestleMania, I'm curious if she would have came back in a bigger way. If she would have interrupted somebody in the ring and her music hit and the crowd was like, oh shit, Nia Jax is back. But either way, I think it would have fallen flat, because I was kind of hoping that Nia Jax, she didn't have to do a lot here, but I was kind of hoping Nia Jax would come back with a slightly different maybe look or a slightly different attitude. She was the exact same. It basically felt like the whole year never happened. She was back in the ring in the same outfit, same music, same ring style, same hair, which surprised me because I swear I saw something on social media a few months ago. She had like a grandma haircut. And I understand you got extensions and it's unbelievable and all that stuff, but I swear she had a little old lady haircut, like all curly and short. And I even thought to myself, I'm like, she's going to look weird when she comes back. But her hair is long. She looks like the exact same. And I don't have anything specific that I wanted her to change about her appearance or her attire or anything. Nothing specific. I just thought that when you're off for a year like that, you want to come back and make a splash and get noticed, and make an impact. And she should have come back maybe a little bit, maybe a little crazier, a little bit meaner. Maybe go back to being that monster like they tried to make her out to be, maybe being like a female Braun Strowman. Or maybe come back a little darker, instead of the purple and the flashy, sparkly colors, maybe come back a little like with a dark side or something. I don't know. It could be anything. But I think it should have been, she just should have had a different feel to her. I wanted us to, after the match, I would like all of us on social media to say, wow, I like this new Nia Jax. But none of us said that. It literally felt like you blinked your eyes and the whole year never happened. Nia Jax is back. She wins. Nobody cares. Now, there's no fans there to not care, but I feel like if the fans were there, they still would have not cared. Well, maybe not the night after Mania. Night after Mania, she probably would have gotten a nice response, regardless of what she did. But next week, no. I think she's going to be right back to being Nia. Nobody cares about me, Jax. And that sucks because I don't want that for her. I'd like for her to be a little bit more important and be somebody that the fans actually cared about, but I just don't. She's gone for a year and I feel nothing for her. So anyway, welcome back, Nia Jax. Good luck. Please don't block me on Twitter. The only other match in the ring we had was Humberto Carrillo defeating NXT talent Brendan Vink. So another NXT talent. So yeah, with Deanna and Brendan and Austin Theory and Bianca Belair, I don't know which one of these qualifies as a call-up and which one just qualifies as a space filler. So you guys are going to have to help me with all of that. And that is it for Raw. That was all that took place. And a lot of those matches occupied a ton of time. That tag team match took up a shit ton of time. The Alistair and Apollo Cruz match took up a shit ton of time. They replayed, I was wrong. I thought they were going to replay the entire Boneyard match. I said that last night after WrestleMania. I said, I will guarantee you, we got a 3-hour Raw tomorrow. They're just going to replay the entire Boneyard match because it was good. And I really have no issue if they did replay it, but they didn't. I thought they were. They even advertised it, but they just showed a recap of what happened. So given the fact that they had 3 hours to fill here, I'm surprised they didn't do that, but I guess they were saving room for that big Drew McIntyre and Big Show title defense that closed out technically WrestleMania. Technically, that main evented WrestleMania and Raw at the same time. Actually, listen to this. Technically, that match main evented WrestleMania and Raw at the same time, and also didn't main event Raw and WrestleMania at the same time because the match wasn't on Raw. It was at WrestleMania. So it didn't main event Raw, you know what I mean? Anyway, kind of interesting there. But I really, at the end, have no issue with it, with what they did tonight. They were just working with what they got. I did see you guys check out Big Show on Austin's podcast, or on the Broken Skull Sessions. I really like that one. I am going to watch tonight. I've been waiting. I'll be watching the Edge 24 doc. Did not watch that last night. I saved it for tonight so I could watch it with my woman. And other than that, I got to check out the Undertaker one, and there's another one as well I think I need to check out. Oh, and I think the Dark Side of the Ring comes out tomorrow, which is Brawl for All, I think. So yeah, we got some shit to keep us occupied this week, at least, especially if you're not going to see me until Saturday. Let me go over here to the chat, answer a few questions. We'll hang out a little bit more. Keep smashing that thumbs up button for me if you would. I'd appreciate it. We can elaborate a little bit more on last night on any matches that you want to talk about in terms of the weekend goes. Oh, and I didn't talk about Charlotte. That's right. Charlotte also did an interview. Again, it was right after her match last night, so they showed us that, celebrating her NXT title victory. And who asked that? Andrew is asking if Charlotte is on NXT exclusively now. And I don't think so. I think Charlotte actually made a point to say she wanted to defend the title on all 3 brands. So she might do that first. She might, kind of make the rounds with the title a little bit and maybe even slap a Rhea Ripley rematch on TV or something. I don't know. I could see that happening. But yeah, I think she'll have a couple of title defenses and retain them. But I think maybe do most of that in NXT, maybe just 1 or 2 here or there on Raw or SmackDown. Because I don't know why that gives her the right just to appear anywhere because she's NXT champion. Don't really know how that works. I would feel like she would have to be on Raw if she's going to do anything. So I can definitely see her doing some stuff on Raw and not staying exclusively in NXT. But I don't know how WWE's bullshit rules work. I don't know, if you win a title, does that mean you have to go there or you can just do whatever you want? Where some people are stuck on one brand, but then champions have a privilege to do things that others can't. I don't know. But I think Charlotte being there, I just really wish there was no pandemic, because I would be slightly interested to see her in NXT for a little while. I don't know in WWE's head if they were thinking, oh, let's do this. This will help us in the ratings in AEW. I don't think that's going to be enough, to be honest. Just simply putting Charlotte there. can't hurt, but she's been on NXT a couple of times before building up this match and didn't do anything for the ratings, so I don't know if it's necessarily going to help their situation against AEW, but like I said, it's definitely not going to hurt it either, and you will have a lot of fresh matchups there as long as she remains champion. But I don't want to see her go there and tear through the NXT roster. Don't want to see that. Don't want to see her go there and just beat everybody. I think she should be there for a little while and then just drop the belt back to Rhea Ripley. If she does that, all is right with the world, in my mind. Now, I kind of mentioned what Tom said last night. I joked on Twitter that Charlotte was demoted. You know, for a woman who the fans insist that WWE's obsessed with and they only want to push her and she's the female Roman Reigns. Why the hell did they send her to NXT? Isn't that where we wanted Nia Jax to go? Remember everybody said it? Everybody said it. Everyone. What did they say? With their little grubby ass fingers typing, send her back down to NXT because that's where shitty people go. Well, here you are. Charlotte just got sent down to NXT. Maybe she needs to go down there and work on her ring work a little bit. What do y'all think? It's kind of funny how these opinions happen. Charlotte is a 12-time women's champion. I remember when Flair was a 12-time champion, and he had been wrestling for like 30 years by that point for him to win 12 titles. How long has Charlotte been in? 5? When did they come in? Is it 15? 2015? Man, 12-time champion. That's the way the business moves, though. I mean, we move at that supersonic speed where, you know, back in the day, it was very rare to see a title change. You know, if the tag team titles changed hands on WWF superstars in the 80s, holy crap. When the Hearts beat the Bulldogs on TV, that was like a huge deal. That like traumatized me as a kid. Honky Tonk Man beat Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental title on TV. These were like huge moments that were so few and far between that you remember forever. Now, when something like this happens, you say Charlotte's a 12-time champion, I can't remember 3 of her victories. Like it's all just blends and just gets infused and entwined, and it's a mess. It's not the same as it was. But back in the day in the 80s, you know, if we had a 3-hour show on Monday, a 2-hour show on Friday, and a 2-hour show on Wednesday, and a pay-per-view a month, then I wouldn't have the strongest memories of those title wins either. But it's just kind of crazy how somebody can be in the business, or at least be on the main roster, I should say, for 5 years and have that many championships. That's crazy. Antox, thank you for that. That's what I suspected. I just haven't gone in and looked at that. So yeah, this coming Wednesday on NXT will be the ladder match for the women and Gargano and Ciampa. So this is going to be an interesting week, I think, on Wednesday for the ratings because AEW is still winning. Both ratings seem to be down for both shows, but I feel like NXT is going to give the fans a little bit better stuff on Wednesday because AEW just, you know, they just mass taped a bunch of stuff and they're good to go through May sometime. So I don't know what kind of shit we're really going to get from them on Wednesday, where in NXT, there's 2 great, awesome matches right there that we know we're going to get. And I think they should win in the ratings. I feel like they should, but they probably won't. But I think they're already stocking up the stronger show on Wednesday. We'll see. Should be an interesting Wednesday Night Wars because after that, I know we're going to get some more AEW. But I don't know how far WWE's gone with their NXT tapings. I don't know what the hell they're going to do in upcoming Wednesdays. And we don't know what the hell is going to happen not only this Friday. I'm sure we'll get something. They definitely taped something, I'm sure, last week for Friday Night SmackDown. We'll probably get a show on Friday very similar to what we saw tonight. Just a lot of filler, you know, just a lot of extra matches. But unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have to worry about it being a 3-hour show only, too. But after that, 1 week from tonight, what are we going to sit here and do? Because I'll be up here after the show. We'll do a live stream one way or the other, even if we have to review a replay or just shoot the shit and talk with each other. We'll be here. Life goes on YouTube. And what the hell are we going to talk about? What are we going to see? I have no idea. Hopefully some plans and some news will be coming out this week, because I didn't read up on anything today in terms of the latest internal plans in WWE. I'm assuming all the talent's back home and everybody's just quarantining and isolating. And I don't know what the hell Vince is doing. Anybody got word on him? Was he backstage at this WrestleMania? I'm assuming he was. Or, you know, is he? I mean, he's an old man. I know Vince is immortal and everything, but, you know, he should be staying inside, at least right now. But I don't think he really operates that way. So I was kind of interested to see and if we would hear any stories or news about Vince from the weekend, but I didn't really see anything. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Lionel, Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. I'm going to say no on that. Lashley, man. You know, this guy was a badass at one point. All that time off from WWE when he came back, man, they have just done nothing with him. But now, I mean, is he in? He's not in like the position to face Brock, even with Brock losing, you know. And that's another thing we have to speculate on now. Brock Lesnar no longer, finally, we have got a beltless Brock Lesnar after all this time. And I know with the pandemic changes things, it's going to change plans, it's going to alter a lot. But if we didn't have this going on right now, what do you think the plan would have been for Brock Lesnar? Would he be back by SummerSlam? Would he be back in the title picture? Or would they try to put him towards like an attraction match? Maybe another match with Cain Velasquez with no title on the line. Maybe something with Tyson Fury. Because, I mean, Tyson Fury, he said something when he was talking shit to Drew McIntyre. He said something like, I'm not a 45-year-old man that you just beat or something. So he kind of threw some shade at Brock Lesnar, too. So I don't know if we get some sort of big, crazy match. Maybe we get Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. Ooh. How about that tag team match? Main event of SummerSlam. World champion Drew McIntyre teaming up with Brock Lesnar to take on Universal champion Braun Strowman teaming up with Tyson Fury. That would suck still because Tyson's in it, but it would be better than a one-on-one match, right? That's what they should do. Tag match. Oh, maybe Randy Orton. Yeah, Randy Orton's another guy that needs a direction now. I mean, are they going to continue the thing with Edge, or is Edge done? Moving on to another opponent once all this settles. Randy Orton might have to do something as well. So yeah, that's an option. Randy Orton and McIntyre. I could see him being a first opponent for him as well. Wouldn't be bad. Marcus Metcalf, good to see you, man. Thanks for the $2. I appreciate it. If you move Seth to SmackDown, who does Drew feud with? Yeah, good question, because I mentioned Seth last night as being a really good potential first opponent for Drew, who after the loss to Kevin Owens maybe somehow slips in, because I kind of envision them, you know, like when a star of Seth's caliber takes a loss like that, it's usually not very long before they bounce back. So I thought maybe Seth would lose clean to Kevin Owens, but then on Raw, they would do what they always do, some sort of a multi-man number one contenders match with Owens and Seth and whoever, and Lashley, and maybe even Aleister Black. I don't know. Maybe not if he's not going to win it. And just put a bunch of guys in there, and then Seth comes out on top of that, comes out and wins. And now he gets the title shot, even though he lost one-on-one totally clean to Kevin Owens. He's the one going to face Drew McIntyre now, and Drew McIntyre will put him down, and that would be a great first opponent for Drew to ensure and just try to prolong the inevitability of the wrestling fans turning on Drew. You know, it's going to happen. You know it is. So at least if you can give him something, give him somebody that fans really hate, that will prolong that from happening, and I think he would have been a great first opponent. But if he goes to SmackDown, who would it be? Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be, I don't think it would be Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens talked about that tonight, said maybe I should go back to being a prize fighter. So I don't know if Kevin, I wouldn't put a babyface in there with Drew. I would keep it heel all the way. So yeah, if he's gone, it's going to have to be something else or somebody else. But with that story and that news of Tyson Fury, man, I don't know what WWE has got up their sleeve for that. All I know is it's going to suck. Thank you, Nick. I am definitely looking forward to that. I love the trailer, watching Edge say, hey, I got the surgery and my neck stopped hurting. And he goes, the first thing I thought, so I'm interested to see how all that plays out. Marcus, what'd you say up there? I'm black, and my nieces have been watching some wrestling with me. Their favorites are Sasha, Naomi, now Bianca. After seeing her, it's hard not to like Bianca, especially now. I'm a big Bianca fan. Naomi, I was always kind of on the fence about. I liked her. I think she's really entertaining, but it was just too much, that glow and the dancing and the lights, and it gives me a stroke. But overall, I think Naomi's a solid chick, and she's been there a long time, paid her dues, and she's had her moments. She's had her WrestleMania moments and all of that. And Sasha, of course, is a star. She's had some great great matches in WWE, and I hope that they are able to do a good payoff with her and Bayley. I hope this isn't something that they fuck up or anything. I saw there was some sort of a clip of Bayley like laughing on the locker room floor after WrestleMania. That was pretty good. Eventually, whether it's a one-on-one match or whether it's, sometimes type of a multi-woman deal, I think Sasha will be the one to take the belt off of Bayley. I like Sasha. I'd like to see her champ again. And they planted the seed for that at WrestleMania with Sasha kind of like not helping Bayley out, or Bayley not helping Sasha out, excuse me, but then Sasha still comes back to help out Bayley to retain the title. So that's going to lead to something. And that's probably one of the things we are going to see Friday on SmackDown. I'm sure they've taped some sort of an interview between the two of those ladies, and maybe tensions will rise a little bit, and they will, pretty much make you think that that's going to be the match we're going to get. I think they could also have fun with it. If we're able to get a Money in the Bank whenever this happens, it's so funny talking about this stuff because we have no idea what's going to happen. If we were to get a Money in the Bank, Sasha winning that would be fun. Why did you have to do that or whatever? I don't know, to make it fun, because then she can kind of dangle that in her friend's face. Yeah, of course, you're my friend. I would never, Sasha or Bayley, I would never cash this in on you. I love you, Bayley. You're my best friend. I would never do you like that. And then she does her like that. So that could be good. I wouldn't mind that. But I think it's imperative that we have briefcase holders, because we didn't really have any last year. Both the briefcases were cashed in pretty quick, and I would like to see at least one, the men or on the women's side, hold on to it for like close to a year. If they crown the Money in the Bank sometime this summer, whether it's in an empty arena or whether they move the ladder matches to SummerSlam or whatever they do, I hope that it's like a next year at WrestleMania or a next year night after WrestleMania type of cash in. That's what I'd like to see right here in old Los Angeles. Could be fun. But yeah, I want to see these Money in the Bank matches happen some way, shape, or form. I hope they do. Pardon me as my dryer goes off. Oh, another one. That's another good heel there. Man, a lot of heels went down, didn't they? AJ Styles is another guy. AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins, they all went down pretty hard at WrestleMania. AJ would be a good one, and think of those matches. I'd be into that. I mean, AJ, yes, he lost at WrestleMania, but the argument could be made that he was so brave going into this boneyard match for The Undertaker and giving The Undertaker the fight of his life. Even at the end, when Undertaker is about to bury him, he gives AJ props for fighting so hard. That might be a way to get AJ a title shot, especially if he's out there and on the mic and he's like, I survived getting buried alive and my hand came up through the dirt and here I sit still on this flat earth and I'm going to challenge you, Drew McIntyre, for the WWE title. And Drew says, fuck yeah. And they have a kick-ass match. Imagine AJ selling a Claymore. Have they worked? I'm sure they have. I can't even think of one off the top of my head in WWE. We might have gotten one in TNA maybe too. Maybe not. Has Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles happened before? If so, when? I don't even remember. But I think that would be a good one. AJ would be a good quality opponent for Drew. I mean, AJ's like 43 years old now, 42 years old, still wrestling at a Shawn Michaels level, but right now I think he should be putting some dudes over. Yeah, Marcus, as far as I know, Brock won the Money in the Bank. Didn't he just like show up in it and win it? Oh my God, that made people so mad. I think I remember, if I remember right, I laughed about it, but it was still fucked up. Clyde's got a good idea. Call up Walter from NXT UK for SummerSlam. I'm guessing he's quarantined overseas. Where the hell's Finn Balor? Is he home? Is he here in the States or is he somewhere else? Hope he's doing all right, whatever's going on with him. We were supposed to get that match, weren't we? Walter and Balor. I worry, though. I'm a huge Walter fan, Clyde, but he kind of didn't have a great showing for himself at Survivor Series, if I remember right. And it makes me nervous that he's just another one of those guys, another example of many, many, many wrestlers who are just infinitely better in NXT or where they are. Because the minute you put Walter out on SmackDown, out on Raw, Vince is going to say, when did we sign Kozlov back? Get him out there dancing. That's what he's going to say. Vince is an idiot. He probably thought that Aleister Black and Apollo Crews was a WrestleMania rematch. Vince doesn't know what's going on. Where's Lars Sullivan? I don't know. Making a video? Just a guess. I don't know. Yeah, Finn is overseas too. Well, wherever Finn is and wherever Walter is and all the NXT UK talent, And everybody watching right now who are not here in the States, hope you're doing all right, because we got it like the worst, man. We got hit hard by this. Not that other places haven't, not like Italy and shit, but it's still pretty gnarly over here. So hope y'all are hanging in there, man. Shout out to Solid Monster, who I talked to a little bit on Twitter tonight. He posted a picture of eating applesauce for dinner, because nobody in New York, I think, can even go to the store for like 2 weeks. So it makes me worried that that's going to like kind of spread, you know. And right now I can still get to the supermarket and I can get to some takeout food, but man, I'm hoping that it doesn't get worse. I think it will. Walter said in an interview he didn't really care about being in the Survivor Series. Well, that's good, but he still should have had a better showing in there. I like Walter. Yeah, Lars Sullivan is injured. I'm just curious, you know, how all that's going to happen when he comes back after everything that was discovered, let's just say, about our friend. Oh, yeah. Where's Mustafa Ali? He might be behind GTV. That's who, we were talking the other night after SmackDown, when we did the predictions, I was like, what the hell is this going to be? Is this like a reincarnation of GTV? And if it is, who do you think is going to be behind it this time? And if WWE actually reveals that and they don't drop the entire angle like they did the anonymous GM or the other GTV. And a lot of you said Mustafa Ali. A lot of you said it's you could see him being behind it based on some of the visuals and stuff. And I'd like that idea. He needs to do something, man. Poor kid. He had that horrible luck before last year's WrestleMania. He's a hell of a fucking talent. Felt like they were going to start doing something with him, and then they just, no, we're changed our mind. So he needs something to do. He's too good to be sitting there, you know, especially when you see these guys as talented as Ali. They're doing nothing. They're not even on the shows. They're not being used at shows. And you think about how valuable somebody like that could be for another company like an AEW. And that's when, you know, you see WWE just hoarding the talent. They don't give a shit. Let's just sign them, pay them, sit them down. It's no way to spend your young life, man. In the prime of your career, you're in your mid to late 20s. You're as physically athletic and capable as you're ever going to be. And WWE just wants you eating salad just so you can't go to the other company. It's so fucked up. So effed up. Lars comes back with a Rico gimmick. I just pictured that and I will never forgive you. Yeah, Jason Jordan, I think he did kind of secretly shut it down, but so did Edge, you know, and look at him. But it's a real shame about Jason Jordan because he's so stupidly young and pretty damn talented. Yeah, DM, the cats are here. They're both around. I got visual on neither one right now, but I've been trying to do a system before I go live, trying to get them fed and out of my fucking life before I go live, and most of the time it works, but sometimes it doesn't. But right now, it's working, which is good. Marcus, thanks for another $2, dude. I appreciate it. Are there any women's tag teams left? Well, with Mandy and Sonya now breaking up, it doesn't look like it. Technically, Bayley and Sasha could go after the titles again. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually do. That would be a good way to begin and set up their match. They'll challenge Nikki and Alexa, but they won't. Something will happen. They won't get along, and Nikki and Alexa will retain the titles. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's one of the matches that they use to set up the eventual Bayley and Sasha match. Wouldn't be surprised at all. We talked a lot about that last night as well. The Firefly Funhouse match was wonderful. Now, I did put a Twitter poll up, and I think it's still the same results. 60-40. Most people, I asked you guys if you preferred the Boneyard match or the Funhouse match, and 60% preferred Boneyard. 62.9 to 37.1, a little under 600 votes. And I guess I concur with that because the Boneyard match was badass, but the Funhouse match, man, there was just something about that I just think I needed. Just in these crazy-ass times, I needed something that was going to completely blow my mind. You know, because I mean, your brain's atrophy if you just sit here and do nothing inside, you know, so like you need some stimulation. I think it's pretty safe to say that took me on one hell of a roller coaster trip there and I enjoyed it. I think I'm not going to say I enjoyed it more than the Boneyard match, but I'm going to say I enjoyed it as much as the Boneyard match. Because it was just fun shit. Loved everything they did. It was so goofy and weird, and where the hell they come up with this stuff. And I don't mind it. I can't wait to hear Jim Cornette's thoughts. When is his podcast? He's going to shit all over this thing. Cannot wait to hear what Jim Cornette has to say about that. That's going to be awesome. Danielle Saunders, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for the $5. If Seth moves to SmackDown, does that mean Becky has to move to SmackDown too? You know what? That's actually a really good point. You know, you would say in your head, like, well, why? Why the fuck? That wouldn't matter. But yeah, you know, WWE tries to accommodate their couples, or their powerful couples, I should say. I think if some underneath talent are dating, they don't give a shit. But when it comes to like the Charlottes and Andrades, they're on the same brand. Zelina and Alistair, they're on the same brand. Seth moving to SmackDown probably isn't going to happen because of Becky. I think you're actually right. Danielle's got a good point. Unless they're not together now, but I think they are. They're engaged, right? So yeah, they're probably going to keep them together for the purposes of traveling on the road. So yeah, moving Seth to SmackDown is probably not a great idea. Didn't even think about that. Good point. Ooh, I like it. You know what? You guys are first Danielle and now Nightfall coming up with these good points here. I would love it if a woman was behind GTV. And I'm only calling it GTV because that's what it reminds me of. But whoever's behind these hidden camera things on Friday Night SmackDown and potentially Raw too. We don't know if it's going to happen on both shows or not, or if it's just a SmackDown thing. Ember Moon. I could see that. I could almost see Ember Moon in a weird way better than Ali. Yeah, why were we just thinking it absolutely has to be a man? It could very well be a woman. I'd love it. I'd love it to be Ember Moon. Excellent way to bring her back because I think she's ready to go too in WWE. Another great wrestler. I would have rather had Ember Moon come back tonight than Nia Jax. Give Ember Moon some title shots. She was on the cusp of beating Asuka. Remember in NXT how close she came? Was it Asuka or Shayna? I can't remember. But she had really some hard-fought battles there in NXT, and she was impressing a lot of people. And much like Bianca Belair, I remember saying at that time, that girl's going to be champion. And that's what I say about Bianca now and some other girls, but Bianca's kind of the front runner to me in terms of the best I think they have there. And I mean, like Io Shirai are great, and ladies like that are awesome and everything, but Bianca's got that, like, what WWE wants type of thing. So, and I kind of felt the same way about Ember Moon, and nothing ever, came of it. So hopefully when Ember Moon gets back on TV, starts wrestling again, WWE will actually utilize a good piece of female talent they have, because I don't know if you've noticed, the women's rosters are shit. So we need some stars on there. Yeah, bring Ember back. Totally into that. Damn, pretty good audience in here right now. I hate to bail out on you when there's 500 people in here. Do me a big favor, too. Smash that thumbs up button. I would super appreciate it. Ryan, I thought Ember was cleared, but I could be wrong. I thought I saw a social media post from her or something saying she was, but that's my own applesauce brain, so don't take my word for it. But I kind of thought that she was, and WWE just didn't have anything for her. Famous words, right? Wednesday or Thursday is the Jim Cornette experience. Good. I will be tuning into that because Jim is crazy, and he is probably going to have me. He'll probably have me disagreeing with every word he says, but also laughing my ass off about how just fucking ludicrous and out of his mind he is. So I'll be interested to listen to that for sure. Any chance it could be EC3? No, I feel like WWE hates him. I do. I feel like WWE hates him, and they are just keeping him under contract. He's still there. He's kind of flirted a little bit with elite guys and AEW guys, which I'm sure isn't pleasing WWE. Much like the Revival, they probably know that he wants to get the fuck up out of there. So if he's behind this, I don't know if that's going to be enough to convince him to stay, because why would it? Hey, you stay with us, re-sign with us, because we're going to make you the guy under the hood. Okay, then what? Then it's revealed that it's me, and then 3 weeks later, I'm wrestling on Main Event again. Zero faith whatsoever in WWE being able to make anything of that guy, and I think he should just bounce and get the hell out of there. I don't know what his contract situation is. Don't know how much time he has left on it, but I hope he's almost done, because he'd be a great addition to AEW. That's where he should have been the whole time. Yeah, he's one of the, and AEW doesn't want to be in the situation where they sign everybody, but there's so much talent in WWE that if their contracts were just up, they would dramatically help that roster. Think about when the Revival gets there, with a tag team division that's already on fire as it is. They're going to add a lot to that. Matt Hardy hopefully will. A guy like EC3 will. And anybody else, and maybe a woman or two, maybe somebody like an Ember Moon or a female competitor that's a little bit disgruntled, and get the hell out of there and go to AEW and help that women's roster. It needs a lot of help over there. They need like 3 women from WWE to help beef up that roster. What if it's me under the hood? It might be. You never know. GTV, Good Mic Work TV, Greg TV, or Gronk TV. I never did talk about Gronk winning the big green clock, did I? Not surprised at all that they put the strap on him. Not at all. When they didn't do it on night 1, I think we were saying during the reaction, I'm like, they're going to do it tomorrow. Like, we knew it. That's what the belt is for. I don't like Gronk. I think he's an obnoxious fucking idiot, but I had no problem with him winning the 24/7 title because the 24/7 title is a joke, and that's what it's there for, to be put around the waist of jokes. And R-Truth will get it back. He's the godfather of that division, and I think he will remain so. And right now, it's just a temporary thing for Gronk, but as far as it being a slap in the face to the business or something, no, who fucking cares? Doesn't matter. If it was the Intercontinental title, maybe, but with the hardcore title or with the 24/7 title, don't really care. Don't really care at all. Christian versus Edge one final time. It's up to them. That would have to be a personal thing that they would want to do. I think if Edge went to WWE and said, I want to work a program with Christian, they would let him. The only thing is, I think that it would be similar. It would be way too similar to Orton and Edge. It would have to be a situation where Christian turns on him and does the same kind of thing, injures him. And, I feel like that storyline's already been taken. I'd rather see them team up. That would be great. I think I would rather see that, actually. I'd rather see Edge and Christian in the ring as a tag team than face each other one-on-one. Because that intense betrayal, that intense rivalry between two former friends, we already saw that with Randy Orton. I think it would be way too similar of a story with Christian, but I would love to see him come back and the two of them maybe win the tag team titles. Edge and Hulk Hogan won it back in 2002, remember? How cool would that be? The New Age Outlaws came back in 2014 and won it. Theoretically, it could happen. I don't think Christian is officially retired. I don't think any doctors told him he had to. If he worked out for 4 or 5 weeks, got in ring shape, he could probably have a match. Probably a pretty decent one, too. I was under the impression that Christian wasn't having any issues with getting cleared. I think he just was thinking it was time for him to retire. So I'd like to see that. I'd be totally into Edge and Christian. Could have another match. Yeah, he does. He admitted that in the 24 special. Yeah, we knew that. We knew AEW contacted Edge, but that would have been so silly. I'm a big AEW fan, but that's one piece of talent that had no business going over there. Edge is WWE, born and raised. What's going to happen if he shows up on Dynamite? Jim Ross is going to say, Tony, look, it's Adam Copeland. It's not the same. It's not the same. Sorry, it's not the same. If he could take the Edge moniker with him, maybe he would have thought about it, but say what you want about WWE, we all have our problems with this crazy-ass fucking company. A guy like Edge has very little to be disgruntled with WWE about. What has ever happened to Edge in that company that gives him any reason to complain? He's been a star since the day he got there. They've liked him. He's done well. They put him over. He's won 1 million titles. He's built this Hall of Fame legacy, legendary career. If you're going to come back after 9 years, that's where you're going to go. You're not going to go to AEW. Some pieces of talent makes much more sense for them to be in AEW than WWE. Edge is the guy where it's the other way around. There is no other home for him than WWE. And I would have been bummed out if he went to AEW. I would. Even though I love the company, that's not where Edge belongs. Edge belongs in WWE with the music and the whole deal. What kind of a persona would he have had? He probably would have dressed the same, but he would have been Adam Copeland coming out there some generic rock music. Probably could have done some fun things with Chris Jericho and all of that, but WWE was better. I mean, that's just where he needs to be. He can have much more meaningful feuds there with guys that he has a lot of history with, like the Randy Orton thing, and potentially with others, and even maybe reuniting with Christian. And a guy like Edge, when you think about him, everything that WWE's done for him, took care of him, constantly, you know, gave him good contracts, good money, put him in top storylines, put him into the Hall of Fame, didn't even question it for a minute when he said he had to retire. They accepted it and sent him off into the sunlight or into the sunset as best they could. Edge Appreciation Nights, putting him in the Hall of Fame the very next year. That's a guy that WWE has done very little wrong with, you know. He might have had a little bit of heat back in the Lita days, but that was like short-lived. He never paid any prices on TV for it. I don't remember Edge failing a wellness test. He might have been on that pharmacy list. And I think he was on some steroids when he got the neck surgery because he came back in 24 real big. But that's for rehab. But yeah, this is a guy that like never had any like real problems. Edge is where he needs to be. I'm happy he stayed there. He could have been called the Edge or maybe the Side or something else. Jericho was on Sharknado. That's hilarious. Didn't even know that. Yeah, I'm sure that if Edge would have gone over there, he wouldn't have been able to be called the Edge. I'm sure there was all sorts of trademark shit there. So he's going to have to just be his old regular name, which is fine. Nothing wrong with his name. I remember when he came in, I reviewed his DVD back in the day. It's actually on my channel. And I remember saying in that review that when he came out, I remember not being particularly fond of the name Edge when he first debuted. Because I was watching him wrestle in dark matches, all on the house shows and shit around like 98. And he wasn't being introduced as Edge then. And then when he debuted on TV, I'm like, Edge, it's kind of a weird name. Took some getting used to. And I did. Edge turned out to be one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but it wasn't something that I liked right at first. And I thought being Adam Copeland would have been better, to be honest. But, you know, being a part of the Brood and all that, it all worked out for the best. And Edge is back, and I'm happy. And I just hope we get back to life as normal here soon so we can see more Edge matches. That's what I want. I want more of Edge. I want to see him work with more guys. And I want to see maybe a little bit better than what we saw last night, because the feedback is not overwhelmingly positive on the last man standing match. Most people are of the opinion that it was too long. It was good and brutal and hard hitting, but way too long. And they're right. I mean, it was, but I still think it was a successful debut for Edge, or a re-debut for Edge in his return. And he went all in. Like, he was totally emotionally invested in that. You could see it on his face. The story he was telling in there, kind of the crying and the sobbing at the end of all the things he had to do. He was putting on some incredible performance last night. He really was. So I almost feel like an asshole if I shit on that match. I'm not going to. I liked the last man standing match. Thought it was fine. If they wanted to shave 10 minutes off, probably would have helped. But it's not something I'm going to crucify it for. You know, it's the way that it was. All right, I think that's the end here. That is the end of my notes here. I'm going to strand 600 people in the chat. I'm sorry I have to do that, but I'm going to get out of here now. Just a quick reminder on what to expect on the channel this week. Unless I come up here for a midweek live stream of some news breaks, you're probably not going to see me until Saturday. 2 big videos on Saturday. 1 special episode being released in the morning, and then the Winged Eagle podcast will be moved to the evening, probably right around this time. And well, before that, actually, a couple hours before this time, we'll go live and we'll talk about Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT, talk about any wrestling news that happens to be out there. And we'll kick back, shoot the shit, open some cold beverages, and toast 10 years on YouTube. So that is the plan for this coming Saturday. And then next week from tonight, I'll be back up here again, reviewing whatever kind of Monday Night Raw we get. And then probably 2 days later on Wednesday, I will release a classic Monday Night Raw review from our friend and Patreon supporter, Colin, that is paid to have that done. So anyway, that's the immediate schedule here on the channel. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you guys continue to hang in there. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GoodMicWork if you want to shoot me a message or say anything to me on there and communicate during these times of isolation. You're more than welcome to do so. You guys take care. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you on Saturday. Peace.